like most people, you don't like to sit at long traffic lights, figure out who has the right of way, or worse yet, get T-boned in an accident. These are all things that can happen at an intersection with traffic signs or signals. However, when there is a roundabout, you can avoid a lot of these problems. I have spent multiple weeks researching and finding out new things about roundabouts to have the best understanding of their benefits. Recently, roundabouts have been popping up everywhere. I will explain to you what benefits they can bring to the road and why they are more beneficial than traffic lights. Today, I will inform you about how they are safer, more efficient in terms of time, space, energy, and money, and how they keep traffic moving in a more simple, less confusing way once drivers become more familiar with them. There are many factors that cause roundabouts to be safer than other types of intersections. Roundabouts force people to reduce their speed for the windy curves and turns. Once they have reduced their speed, the intersection becomes much safer. So many people today are in a hurry to get somewhere that they speed through intersections. They forget to make sure no one is coming, and they end up in an accident. This article, titled Understanding Traffic Rules for Roundabouts by members of the American Safety Council and published in 2017, stated that the typical speed limit in a roundabout is 15 to 20 miles per hour, which is much slower than what an average person would drive through an intersection at. In a roundabout, people are forced to slow down and watch where they are going. Additionally, if there are any crashes, people will be going much slower, making it a minor crash with fewer injuries. Another reason roundabouts are safer is there's no light to beat. When most people see a stoplight, they think in their head, I've got to make this green light, or oh no, the light is yellow, I better speed up to make it through. This can cause people to unsafely speed through an intersection. You don't have that with a roundabout. There's no light to beat. The next reason that roundabouts are safer than traffic lights is it's almost impossible to get in a T-bone or head-on crash. When traveling in a roundabout, everyone is moving counterclockwise around the circle, whereas in a traffic signal, people are moving in every direction. This causes a lot of chaos and confusion and the likelihood of a serious or fatal crash. Even though there are still crashes that happen in a roundabout, they are much more minor and generally not as serious as crashes in an intersection. As stated in the 2019 article by the U.S. Department of Transportation titled Intersection Safety, Federal Highway Administration. In a standard intersection, there are 32 spots of potential vehicle conflict. In contrast, in a roundabout, there are only 8 spots of potential vehicle conflict. Out of the 8 spots of conflict in a roundabout, none of them are crossing, which makes it next to impossible to get in a serious crash, such as a T-bone or head-on collision. In this diagram, the pink dots represent all the conflict points or places you could have a collision. As you can see, there are many more conflict points in the standard 2-lane intersection than there are the 8 in the single-lane roundabout. And finally, I want to share some statistics about roundabouts and their safety with you. Overall, roundabouts reduce collisions by 37%. Fatal crashes are reduced by 90%. These statistics came from an article published in 2018 titled Roundabout Benefits by the Washington State Department of Transportation. Now that I have explained all of the safety benefits of roundabouts, I will explain how they are very efficient in all ways. The second reason roundabouts are better is because they are more efficient with respect to time, space, energy, and money. We've all waited in a long line of cars stopped at a stoplight before, and none of us enjoy it. Roundabouts are not controlled by stop and go. They are controlled by yield signs. Traffic tends to keep moving at a steady pace. Because of this, lines to travel through an intersection with a roundabout are much shorter. According to the author Alex Schmidt of an article titled Going in Circles Over Traffic Fix, and published in 2011, roundabouts can drastically improve long waits, especially during daily commute. Even though most people don't think of roundabouts as a space-saving tool, according to writers from Auto Insurance Specialists in their 2019 article titled Many Benefits of Roundabouts, Why a Roundabout is Good, roundabouts can actually save the overall physical space needed at intersections that would usually have multiple turn lanes. For example, if an intersection had a left turn lanes, 2 lanes going straight, and a right turn lane on every side, there would be a lot of physical space required for this intersection. A roundabout would be a much smaller in terms of space requirements and more efficient use of space. And cities can use the inside of a roundabout for landscaping. Many cities will decorate the insides with flowers, city signs, and retaining walls to make their city more welcoming, which also makes the intersection not seem as threatening. A third way roundabouts can be more efficient is with respect to energy. At a stoplight, when cars stop and then start again, it wastes a lot of the car's gas and energy. At a roundabout, cars do not have to come to a complete stop, so they typically save gas. This can actually help the environment. According to the author Troy Pankratz in his 2018 article titled The Many Benefits of Roundabouts, because cars don't have to stop and start up again so often at a roundabout, there is less carbon monoxide released into our atmosphere. Additionally, as stated in the article titled Why Build Roundabouts in 2014 by Mike Spack, roundabouts use less pavement, and the result is that the amount of water runoff improves, an additional benefit to the environment. And lastly, in terms of efficiency, roundabouts can save cities lots of money. They save all the money that would be used to run a regular stoplight. According to C40 Cities journalists, the authors of an article titled LED Traffic Lights Reduce Energy in Chicago by 85%, published in 2011, every year one intersection full of stoplights can cost up to $600 to run. This means that Chicago is spending about $3 million per year to run traffic lights. For this reason, roundabouts can help save a lot of money and the reduced costs associated with traffic lights. Now that I have told you about roundabouts efficiency, I will explain to you how roundabouts can help drivers avoid confusion. When coming up to a roundabout, you yield to the cars already in the roundabout. But once in the roundabout, you have the right of way. It is a very straightforward concept once the drivers get the hang of it, and is much less confusing. There is no question who has the right of way. This can help reduce crashes that are caused by uncertainties and or confusion. Drivers with less experience don't always know who has the right of way at a stoplight or sign. I have now told you how roundabouts are safer, more efficient in terms of time, space, energy, and cost, and cause less confusion. Are you on board with me? I hope I have convinced you that roundabouts are more beneficial than traffic lights and signs. If you do the research as I have, you will see there are many benefits. The use of a roundabout at an intersection has many more benefits than the alternative traditional traffic light. If you are still not convinced, think of it this way. It's not just saving time, energy, and space. It may just save your life.